Matty V, Matt Vasgersian, long time Bay Area, grew up, born and raised.
Here, Chris.
Yeah,
distractions.
You got to keep your game on because it's early in the meetings, right? So we started 9 a.m. No one's here. Then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here. Cody can't stop looking at everybody, so I always feel like someone's coming around my shoulder.
Right.
And he was waiting for you, so I'm like, I mean, it's hard. And then you got TV here,
Yeah.
You got Cardinals here.
Yeah.
I've already been ripping the Cardinal people because they've been stealing A's players for years. So I had to go after them.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
I mean, when Eckersley and Tony went there in one fell swoop, I was so done with the Cardinals at that point. They did. They poached all that whole run of guys. McGuire. I mean, we don't have to go through it again.
Like Carney Lansford was on the staff.
Oh, he was. That's right.
I mean,
That's
it's crazy. So if there is a brouhaha between KMOX and A's Cast, you'll understand.
Well, I got you. I'm here.
Yeah.
All we need is Cody. They're not going to mess with him.
How are you in the morning show at MLB Network going?
Good, man. It's we're early in this process, obviously, so no one is quite sure if Ohtani's going to sign here or if we're going to get home, and then it's going to happen a week from now. There seem to be a lot of people who feel like it could happen here.
Yeah.
And I've never been in the prediction game when it comes to contractual arrangements or trades. But, last night that Kelnick deal got everything off to a pretty interesting start. That's a big deal. And when you get a guy like Marco Gonzalez involved as a throw-in, who's been a fixture in a rotation for the better part of 5-6 years, and Kelnick, who's always been this world-class talent that's never had the canvas to do his thing over 162, and now he's going to be in a timeshare in a very good team's outfield. It's a fascinating trade. So maybe there's more of that happening today.
And clearing the room. I mean, obviously, you got to clear the room, right? You got to figure out how are you financially going to make this happen. But I've been saying, the way we need to look at Shohei Ohtani, because we've been living it, right? He made his debut against us. We know the people with the Angels. You've been around the Angels. You know what a cash cow he is. I've been comparing it to like Tom Cruise. You put Tom Cruise in the movie, you make money. There's a reason why they keep making Mission Impossibles. They make Top Gun 2. He's on the team. The return on investment is there.
That's a really good call.
When Ohtani plays against the A's, you look in the background, there's the Japanese advertising.
Yeah.
Everybody. So not only whoever signs him makes money off of him, we, the opposing teams, make money off of him.
It's true. It's true. The lines at Angel Stadium in and out of their main concession store last year for a team that was not playing for anything after about August 15th were wrapped around, because it's one of those old, we know from the Coliseum days, it's one of those old concrete monoliths where, the concrete wrap goes all the way around. That's how you get from level to level, up the ramp, around the corner, up the next ramp, around the corner, just to get into the souvenir store to have access to buying the Ohtani swag. Fans were showing up with empty suitcases to fill them with Ohtani items and then take them home. It's an amazing draw. There's nothing that I've ever seen like it in baseball.
Fellow San Jose State Spartan baseball player Mark Langston on this program told us about the family that showed up and in 2 days spent over $100,000 in Ohtani merch.
2 days, $100,000.
2 days, $100,000.
Bitcoin money. That's what I say. It's got to be.
It's like, you got to understand, this guy, it's like, no matter what he does, he makes you money. Yeah. So it's like, what is the right team? What is the right fit? I have thought, I said it, I still kind of think it. The minute he got hurt, kind of brought the Angels back into play. He knows the staff. They know him. He knows the medical staff. They're going to have the kid gloves. He won't be rushed back in any way, because it's going to be hard not to rush it. If you give somebody $500 million, it's going to be tough not to.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I felt the same way at the time too. But upon second thought,
is it crazy to think that?
I don't think there's a discount coming, if that's what the thought was.
No. I think you'll pay full price.
Okay.
I just think this is where he's comfortable. Living in Orange County doesn't suck.
Right.
If he was 100% healthy as a pitcher and a player, I think no chance. But now I think there is a chance.
It might have brought the market back to the Angels a little bit, but I've gone back and forth on how I feel about where he's going to land. Because at first I was staunch in my assertion that geography mattered, that it was going to be a West Coast team, He had just bought a enormous compound in Hawaii, so he wants to be halfway between home in Japan and wherever his baseball home is in the States. He's not a big market guy. He doesn't need New York like Reggie Jackson did. And I think the creature comforts on the West Coast are going to be the same in a place like San Diego, Anaheim, LA, even San Francisco, as they would anywhere else in that group. And I thought that mattered for him. The rhetoric we hear from his camp, because they're trying to make a market for all 30 teams, they're trying to bring everybody involved, is that geography doesn't matter and that the Cubs are in play and that the Mets are in play. Maybe there's some truth there. The two teams that I would buy more in that argument are Atlanta and Toronto. And Toronto, their beat writer on MLB.com put something out on X today that said they're very much involved in this. They have a seat at the adult table in the Ohtani sweepstakes. Atlanta is so lean, and they're getting such great value on the deals they have for Acuna and Albies, among others, that they actually can do it too. Not to mention they own the entire zip code around the ballpark, including the theater and the restaurants and everything else that people spend their money doing after a Braves game. Those two teams are interesting to me. Beyond that, I'll stay with my original assertion that it's the 4 West Coast California teams that are the most interesting here.
Who would be the biggest shocker? To me, like, I just don't see Chicago.
Oakland A's?
I don't. He tore us up. He loves hitting in that ballpark. Why wouldn't he want to play there?
The biggest shocker among the teams that are really being talked about here, yeah. Boy, I'd say the Red Sox would be a shocker just because of the impact he would have on that franchise. And I haven't heard a lot of smoke about the Red Sox being involved here. But there's a new brain trust leading the way there, and maybe that's the way they're going to be. They're not going to be among the more public teams. Look, the agents and the executives, I shouldn't say the agents love this for them. I don't think anybody that runs a team as a general manager or a president of baseball operations likes the idea that they have to walk through a lobby and encounter guys like you and I asking them questions.
Yeah.
They prefer doing it in private. That's why it's not like it was 30 years ago where the GMs and the managers were all hammered in the hotel bar every night. They're in their room conducting business privately. There was a time not too long ago where guys were unafraid to tip them back, and they're sitting at the hotel bar and they're ha he and all that stuff. Now you get, you walk by with your cell phone and there's some, you got a bunch of empties on the bar, and guy's got
not a good look,
lampshade over his head. not a great look. Right.
I saw Brian Sabian, the old Sabes last night in the bar. I was like, hey, how you doing, Brian? But
it was much more fun. Let's put it that way. I miss those days.
Well, I think about how he is such a big investment. It's paralyzing because you can't really do anything until you know. So now it goes, because I'm still want to talk to you about Soto, like Juan Soto. I mean, this is a guy. Do you want to give up something for him now? Do you want to wait and just bid for him? I mean, but he's obviously at his age. You're buying his prime.
Right. Mike Petriello did a really interesting article on MLB.com a couple of weeks ago trying to find similar cases on the free agent market as to Soto, a player who's in the same age of his career, player who had accomplished what he had with the same ability, the same upside, who is likely to be dealt with 1 year left on an existing trade and then re-sign someplace for huge money. And the best comp he came up with, and I do like this one, was Lindor. Right, he had 1 year of canvas left on his Indians deal. They trade him, and at the time, we all think that the deal stunk. We all think that what Cleveland got wasn't very good. It was pretty good. And then the Mets, because they're the Mets and they have the largesse financially that not many teams do, they were able to make him that huge princely offer and keep him there forever. That's probably what's going to happen with Soto. The acquiring team is going to be a big market, big money team. They'll be able to give him that big deal. They'll get it done before the season ends. And I think, my personal guess is that it's going to be the Yankees. I mean, the need is striking
no
for
doubt.
him there. His skill set plays with the short porch and left, like a left-handed power hitter. The Yankees have not had a left-handed power hitter for the last few years. How can that happen? Your ballpark is screaming for it. So I think the Yankees make sense. I know that those franchises have traded names, and that the discussions have been ramped up here a little bit recently. Maybe that's where he ends up, and that's one of the few teams that can play on that field anyway.
And the thing that, we're looking at, every single team's going to talk to you they need. And I know Dan O'Dowd was talking about this recently, just like, we got to find some guys who can throw some innings.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you throw 100 miles an hour, but I know you're going to blow out.
That's the guys next to us. The Cardinals have done that.
Dude, find me some guys. Yeah, if you're going to sign Lynn, you're going to get we need somebody like the A's. We're down here. We need innings.
Yeah.
You got to get 4,374 outs. That doesn't count extra innings.
That's a lot. Good number.
That's a lot of outs. You got to find guys. And that's the thing. This bullpenning thing was a disaster in San Francisco. I mean, there's so many, all these teams, like, once the big names go, teams got to find, do we have enough human beings to throw all these innings? We're not training them to do it.
Well, I mean, for context, you make a really good point. There's only one team now that has 4 pitchers on the roster that each went 180 or more innings, and that's the Cardinals, because they just went out and got them.
Yeah.
So they prioritized that kind of workload pitcher in a rotation. The top of the rotation guy they got is Sonny Gray, and then they got just guys that are going to get outs and take the ball every 5 days. It's a lost art, to your point. I mean, the landscape is littered with all these great brains in baseball that think you can put together a 7-pitcher, 27-out game. And it's hard to do, because if 1 or 2 guys vomits on themselves, you're done. Look at Game 4 of the World Series at Diamondbacks. Like, they knew they were up against it. Game 4 of the National League Division Series, the Diamondbacks, they actually survived it and beat the Phillies that day somehow. It wasn't going to happen again. And in Game 4 of the World Series, it caught up with them. So your point's well taken. There's a premium on guys that are going to get you into the 6th inning. They're harder to find than ever before, and maybe we get back to that as an industry.
All right, if I have to bet who's going to be on your guys' show, I know you keep the tracker. Harold Reynolds has no chance. You and Lauren, who am I betting on that's going to, because you guys keep the tracker going. Yeah. Who do I bet on that's going to have the most appearances?
I will tell you with confidence that I will take the title again this year. Shahadi takes 2 weeks off every 2 weeks. So she's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
She's like a nurse.
Yep. Harold is, if there's a shiny watch in the back of the room, he has something else to do.
Yeah.
So his attention span is short.
Do you ever say, Harold, they don't have celebrity golf tournaments in December? What are you doing? They don't have that.
He doesn't even play golf, and he goes to celebrity golf tournaments. That's the thing that burns me. Yeah. So I'm there making the sauce every morning, and we'll see how it goes.
We're watching.
Thanks.
We're watching.
Thanks. It's fun when we have guests. Like, this is why this is fun. Like, we get guys that come on with us. Logan O'Hoppe, the Angels catcher who lives in the Northeast, is actually coming to the studio Friday morning to be on Hot Stove. We had Kyle Schwarber come in once about 5 years ago, and nobody's ever forgotten it because it was so funny to see him in our little tiny space.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it regardless.
Hey, we always appreciate it.
Good seeing you guys.
And this fan base absolutely loves you.
Go A's. It's tough sledding, man. But, gosh, do you guys play Immaculate Grid, by the way?
Of course.
So whenever there's an A's line, it's just the best thing about my day. It's the best thing about my day. When you go like A's Giants and I can put in Bob Ochinko or whatever, A's Indians, and I can hit you with Miguel Delaunay, it makes me feel so good about my life as an A's fan.
Our former guest was one of those, both of them. Dan Otero could have been in both of those.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah, Dan Otero.
Real good.
We still tell the Shooty Babbitt story. Because I play golf with Shooty a lot.
I mean,
and when he came and found you, we still bring up when you were broadcasting.
He never believed me, man. I went to school with a Shooty Babbitt baseball card in my Velcro wallet, and when he learned that, he thought I was lying. I'm like, no, dude. And my best friend had a Mike Heath card in his Velcro wallet. We loved those teams, those Billy Ball teams. That's how you cut your teeth. If you're 12 years old and that's your favorite team, it doesn't matter if they're good or not. That sticks with you for your life forever.
No cell phone, Velcro wallet, and we survived.
Yes, we did. We're better for it.
Always appreciate it.
Good seeing you guys.